Okay, well, there were attendees in the waiting room, and now I don't see where that piece of that click was to let them in.
Oh, I think they're still coming in. It probably just takes a minute for them to make their way.
Okay, I see some folks coming in. Good morning, everyone, or 3 minutes till good afternoon. We are a few minutes away from the start of our monthly webinar. So thank you for joining. You have a few minutes if you want to grab your lunch and a pencil and paper to take notes. We'll be with y'all in a few minutes.
Hey, Gina, my screen's still up, right? It didn't switch off.
Yep,
It's
that
good.
beautiful business profile. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just making sure. I was kind of clicking around and didn't want to mess anything up.
All right, I see a few people coming in. Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started in a few minutes. Free to grab your lunch and something to take notes with. Of course, this session is being recorded, so we'll have that available to you later. So don't fret if you miss something in all of this jam-packed hour of information. Well, it looks like it's the golden hour. Thanks, everybody who's joined on time. I'm sure we'll have a few stragglers, but I think it's important to stay on time and get started. What do you think, Angela?
Sure, we can give another minute if you'd like. Totally up to you. You can go over housekeeping a while if you want to. I'll let you do. Gina, you're so good at.
All right. Well, everybody, welcome. Welcome to Social Sippers monthly webinar. This month it is on Google Business Profile. I'm your co-host. My name is Gina. We also have Angela here, and Shannon is in the background, paying no attention to the woman behind the counter. I mean, not counter, curtain.
Green? Curtain. Curtain.
Curtain, yes. So just so you know, your mic is automatically muted. We have recorded this. We're recording, and the presentation will be available fairly soon after on our website. Feel free to add any kind of questions you may have. We're going to answer all the questions after the presentation. For me, on my computer, the question is on a bar at the bottom, and there's a question mark to it. You may also have it on a sidebar, but feel free to write any kind of questions you have, and then we will get to them at the end. If you would like to follow us, we have some really great posts coming up and articles. So we're on Facebook Instagram, and LinkedIn. And if you're tasked with growing your brand digitally, we also have a group called Branded Social Sipper. So those are all ways that you can kind of keep your finger on the pulse of digital marketing by staying connected with us.
Awesome. All right. Were you ready to get started, Gina?
I can't see why not.
All right, then I'll move on. Just real quick, Gina has already introduced herself, but Gina is the Chief Business Development Officer. I am Angela, your Director of Digital Content and Strategy. So if you've been coming to these calls, you've probably seen Gina and I quite often and already know who we are. But we are both here representing Social Sipper, and our goal is to help our clients build their brands through storytelling. Today, we are going to be tackling Google Business Profile, which I know for a lot of people, it's kind of like, okay, like I know it's important, but you know, what do I really do with it? So we're going to hopefully answer some of those questions for you today. But first off, I think Gina has a quick poll for you all. So she's going to deploy that now. And if I'll just give you all a couple of seconds to answer it.
All right. Don't look yet. Now I've just pressed the button. So we have a poll. We'd like to know, who our audience is and their understanding of the subject matter. So we have, how often do you give your Google Business Profile some love? And just give everybody a couple of minutes to navigate over to find that. If you're driving, please don't complete the poll. Wow, this is interesting. Well, we've got quite a few folks that said weekly, like watering the plant. And then it's almost split where we have rarely. Oops.
All right. But it sounds like nobody, what was the very bottom one where it's like, what's Google or something, right? Yeah. Nobody picked that one. All right, good. So we're dealing with somewhat experienced. Y'all seem like you know what you're a little bit, Google Business exists, so that's great. It's always a bonus. So we will hop right into it. This just real quick, we do this for just about every webinar. We talk about, what is Google Business Profile, right? You may have heard of it called Google My Business. I think it was Google My Business up until like the end of last year is what it was still being called, but Google has shifted and they are now calling it Google Business Profile. And Google Business Profile is a free tool that allows businesses and organizations to manage their online presence across Google platforms, including the search and the maps. It enables you to create and update your business information so you can share all sorts of profile, contact details, websites, social media, the whole 9 yards. And not only can clients or customers get on there and interact with you, but you can also interact back with them, which makes it pretty cool. So that's what is Google Business. And then you might be wondering like, okay, well then why should I use Google Business? First and foremost, like it's free. And we've talked about this before. Free doesn't always necessarily mean better, but usually if it's something we're presenting and it's free, it does mean it's better. Honestly, most people, when they are looking up your business, their first place is going to be Google. Like they're going to search. I know for me, even if I know like a website, I still type it into Google first. Like I'm not sure why, but it's just something that I do. And I think a lot of people are in the habit of doing that. And if they don't know your website, they're going to look you up, Social Sipper. And then what's going to happen is it's going to bring up your Google Business Profile first and foremost. So having it in there is super important because it's going to make your business visible. It's going to display useful and correct information. It makes a great first impression. If you have a well built out Google Business Profile, it really does make a good first impression. It's kind of a one-stop shop now, and Google's been adding to it more and more. And like they went through a lot of development and changes last fall. So like they've really been doing a ton where it's almost like it doesn't replace a website, but it works. If you don't have a website, even more so, like having a Google Business Profile is super important because you can have a whole host of information there that people may not even feel the need to go to your website at, just for their first initial contact. It's improving your search, your SEO, your search engine optimization. You can gain customer insights because they offer analytics, and it's just another online communication channel. And I know some of us feel like, oh my gosh, we have so many to manage. We have to manage our website. We have to manage our social media. Now you're telling me I have to manage Google Business Profile. Unfortunately, yes, there's no easy way around that. It's just a fact of the matter. But honestly, like, we see people get a lot of traffic and a lot of phone calls, a lot of direction requests from their Google Business Profile. Like, we see it working. Like, we see people have very good luck with it. So I promise it's worth it. It's another one of the tools in your online toolbox, but it is one that you should absolutely prioritize. And as always, we kind of like to offer you some statistics to back up what we're telling you. But 44% of businesses have Google Business Profiles, right? So almost 50%. If you don't have one, you're kind of being left behind at this point, because 60% of consumers use Google Business Profiles to find contact details of local businesses. So, 60% of people are looking for you on Google before they even pick up the phone and call you. People who have Google Business Profiles, businesses, they see a 30% increase in website clicks when their Google Business Profile is optimized. And of those people visiting your profile, 75% of them take action within 24 hours of making a Google business search. So, 75% of them are making a phone call, placing an order, getting directions to actually show up at your business. So that's a huge chunk of people who are taking action just by seeing Google Business Profiles. And 56% of searches on Google, Gina can back me up. I'm tongue-tied when it comes to saying Google Business Profile. I say it so often and I want to say it fast, so just ignore that. 56% of searches on Google Business Profile actually result in a phone call. That's huge. If somebody finds you on Google and you have an optimized profile, you have a 56% chance of them actually picking up the phone and giving you a call, which we know in this day and age, it's hard to get people to make phone calls. Nobody wants to make phone calls anymore. But Google almost makes it easy because they see your profile. There's a little button they click that says call, and it automatically links them to your business phone number. So that's why you kind of see a higher percentage of phone calls coming directly from Google Business Profile versus maybe from just your website. So those are some stats, hopefully just something for you to think about. And then what we are going to talk about is some of the advantages to having an optimized Google Business Profile. And one thing to keep in mind is as I go over these advantages and then we move into kind of how to optimize your profile, these advantages, you're going to see them across the board. I'm going to be repeating myself a lot. So just keep that in mind because all of the optimization links right back to these advantages. But just to go over them quickly, number one, and they're not in any particular order, none is more important than the other, but number one, you're going to be getting discovered. By claiming your business and providing up-to-date, in-depth information, you're going to help Google properly categorize and rank your business in local searches. So you're going to start seeing yourself, somebody's looking up pizza shops in Virginia Beach. As you optimize your profile, you're going to start seeing yourself move up higher and higher and higher in the rankings. One thing to take note, if people are doing paid advertising on Google, they're always going to show up first. You'll never get above them when it comes to the paid advertising, but you're going to get up there and you're going to get up there close. So that should be a goal of yours. Number two, boost your appeal. When businesses have the correct business information, they have high quality images, you naturally appear more trustworthy and professional than those who don't, right? So like if you're looking up two pizza shops and one shares pictures of a cozy, interior to eat, and they share an exterior picture and it looks like a nice restaurant and they share delicious pictures of pizza versus the one that shares no photos, or maybe they just have one and it's an empty pizza box, right? Those ones that I'm going to pick the one showing more pictures. I'm going to pick the one that looks more professional, which is going to lead to increased engagement. And then your increased engagement is going to lead to conversions, right? Up next, you're going to get insights like we talked about earlier. Google shares analytics with you, so you can collect data and learn more about what people are searching for when they are finding your business, which is really good information just to kind of keep and, let you, that translates then across the board to how you, build out your social media, how you build out your website, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to build social credibility. We know that 60% of customers check Google reviews before they even visit a business, right? So by having your page, by having it up to date, by having Google reviews, you are sharing the story about the quality of your services. So that is, you're building up credibility, and people are going to want to work with you. They're going to choose you more often. Google Business is going to help you convert more customers. Your business is going to get discovered more through keyword searches. You're going to receive phone calls. You're going to get website visits. You may receive requests for quotes and appointments. And it's just going to give you a lot more opportunities to convert your customers. And then the last is expanding your reach. If you have an optimized Google business profile, not only are you going to attract local customers, but you're also going to capture the attention of potential clients beyond your immediate area, which is going to help you expand your customer base, which is really probably what we're all looking for at this point, right? So those are 6, and these aren't the only advantages by any means, but these are 6 of what I feel are like the most important top advantages. So what we're really talking about today is how to optimize your Google profile, right? Like you're saying like, okay, well, these advantages are great, but like, how do I do this? Like how do I optimize? So we are going to make this easy for you. We have, I think it's 10 things that you can do. I might be wrong. It might be 11, but we have a list of things that you can do. So if you're going to take notes, like now would be a great time to get out your pencil and paper or start typing if you can. But like Gina said, this is going to be recorded, but we're going to give you simple steps to follow that are going to allow you to optimize your account, increase your visibility, and attract more customers or clients. So let's move right into it. The first one, first and foremost, is completing your profile, right? A lot of us might have Google business profiles, but we never actually completed all of the details. We've never actually went in and listed all of our about information and filled out our description and put in all of our contact information, location, hours. That stuff is super important. The first reason it's important is because Google rewards businesses with complete profiles by ranking them higher in search results, which increases the likelihood of attracting more customers and then gives you the chance to convert, right? The second reason, so number one, Google, as we go through this, you're going to see a theme. Google loves information. They love data. They love you filling things in. The more you give Google, the more they are going to give back to you. So that's number one. Number two, when I look you up, my local pizza shop, I want to see all of this information. I want to see your phone number. I want to see your address so that I could put it in my map so that I could properly, get to your location. I want to see your hours. All of that is important to me as a potential customer. It's going to build trust. It's going to build credibility. And the last thing is accurate details are important. So when we say complete your business profile, it's not a one and done. If you filled yours out 2 years ago and you're like, no, mine's good, I promise you it's probably not. Go back and look it over. Hours change. Email addresses change, social media links might change, phone numbers could change, a whole host of things could change, right? And the last thing you want is inaccurate data. Because as a consumer, if I look you up on Google, like that to me is Bible. If I look you up on Google, I'm going to assume they know your hours. And I'm not going to call you. If you say you're open till 6 and it's 5:15, I'm going to drive there and assume that you're open because that's what Google said, you know? So if I get there at 5:15 and you're not open, that is going to be frustrating. And if there is, you know, if you're a pizza shop and there's other pizza shops, I'm going to go to the next one. So inaccurate information leads to confusion. And it's really, confusion leads to frustration, which leads to lost business and negative reviews. And that's the last thing you want. So you want to maintain consistency on this platform, and you want to check it quite often. Super duper important. And sometimes Google even message you and say like, hey, you have your hours listed as this, but you know, Monday is Memorial Day. Do you want to change, you know, and they'll give you, they're really good. They'll give you a little prompt so that you remember to update like holidays and whatnot. So that's number one, super easy. And you can kind of see over here, this is just what it kind of looks like if you were to click on the business information update profile, and it will take you through each tab, and it's super easy. You just kind of fill it in as you go along. Up next, verifying your Google business profile. This is one of the most important things you can do. It's absolutely crucial. If your account is not verified, people will not see your updates. They will not see your information. They may see like your business name and like one standard picture or something like that, but they're not going to get to see all of the other stuff. So it is super important. And just a forewarning, when you look at your Google business profile, it may look normal. You might be like, oh, well, it's all there. Google will allow you to see it, but they won't allow others to see it. So you want to look, when you're looking on Google here, when you type in your business name, if you're in the browser, these are pictures from the browser. Type it into your browser, it pops up, you see your dashboard here. Right under here is where you may see you're not verified. Some of your edits may not be visible to customers. And then where this arrow points is a little button that says get verified. And there are times where you can be verified, but maybe your location changes or something, your business name changes. Google's going to want to re-verify you. So it's always important to pay attention that that button is not showing up. And usually Google will warn you a whole bunch of times and say like, hey, you still need to get verified. You still need to get verified. Every verification is different. You may log in and it may verify you immediately, or they may want to send you a postcard, or they may want to have you film a little video, and they walk you through all the steps. But we couldn't even begin to advise you because, again, every verification for everybody, it's a different process. And it depends on your type of business, your location, et cetera, et cetera. But you want to make sure it's verified. If it's not, just go through the steps. Google holds your hand. So verify your listing. And then once it's verified, again, you're completely public to everybody looking, and they can kind of see everything, and it gives you a boost in your credibility and your reputation. So that's number 2. Up next is number 3. This is adding high quality images to your photo section. So again, if you're on your browser and you see your little dashboard right here, there's going to, where this first arrow points, you're going to see a button that says photos. Or looking over here on the right-hand side, you're going to see your photos. And then where this arrow points, there's going to be another button that says add photos. Usually Google's going to populate a map photo for you, and they're going to populate an exterior photo for you. Everything else you pretty much have to put in there yourself. So once you click either this button or this button, this box down here opens up, and you can click the button that says either view all photos, and it will show you every photo you have, or add photos. So it might be, if your account is a little bit older, it might be good to view your photos and make sure all of the pictures on there are representing your business in a way you would like them to. It used to be that people could add photos to your business. I don't, as far as I know, I actually went and looked on like 10 different accounts the other day that we manage, and none of them allowed people from the outside to add, other than Google. Like, it wasn't like I could go on that account and just add my own photos. It used to be that way. So today would be a great day to just look at your photos and make sure you don't have some weird picture that somebody uploaded to your account 3 years ago that you're like, oh, that's not a great representation of my business. Or, say you're a pizza shop and you used to sell salads and there's all these salad pictures and now you don't sell salads anymore, right? Remove those, because you don't want people to think they're going to come and get a great salad and find out they can't. So look through your pictures, make sure they're all up to date. And then think about adding pictures. We're looking for, again, high quality pictures, right? Because first impressions matter. When I look you up on Google, your pictures, pretty much like when I'm looking here, the pictures are the first thing that are going to show up. So your high quality photos, they're just going to convey professionalism. They're going to attract attention. And again, they're a visual representation of your business. So people are getting a quick glimpse of what to expect from your business. So they want to see clear, vibrant images that are going to showcase different parts of your business. And we kind of have this list over here on the left to give you a couple of ideas. Exterior photos, interior photos are always good. Product photos, service photos, team photos, event photos, user experience photos. Sometimes people ask me, what's a user experience photo? It's simple. It's just like, say you have, again, going back to a pizza shop, you have your favorite customers come in and they always get, the pepperoni pizza. Snap a picture of them with, ask permission, but if you can get a picture of them with the pizza, snap a picture, get it on there. You're a real estate agent and, your favorite clients just closed on a home. Snap a picture of your clients at closing, with a sign that says your real estate business, add that type of picture. Those are what user experience photos are. They're just kind of pictures that help potential customers and clients put themselves in the shoes of your current clients and customers, if that makes sense. If you have any questions about these types of photos, I think it was last week on our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, we shared a carousel that goes into way more detail than I will today about these 7 types of photos. It gives picture examples and also a little bit more explanation if you feel like you need. So that's all on our social media if you want to check that out. But again, just the pictures are a first impression. You just want to wow people with those pictures. So just make sure you are. Up next, this is a big one. Were you going to say something, Gina? No. Okay. Sorry. I thought you were ready to talk. My bad. This is a big one. This is what everybody thinks about with Google. They're like, oh, I just need to get a whole bunch of reviews. Like that's everybody's first thought about what Google is. And absolutely, you do want to get reviews. They are super important. Google loves when you get positive reviews and they give you a little boost and you start ranking higher and higher the more positive reviews you have. So they are super important. But I like to remind everybody, they are just one piece of the entire puzzle. We don't want to just focus on reviews. We want to focus on all of this. But again, if you are looking at your dashboard, like we talked about, you'll see 2 buttons that are going to be important to you. The first one with this arrow is read reviews. You can click that and it's going to bring up this box down here, which is going to allow you to read all of your reviews. These reviews also show up on the dashboard so everybody could see them. It's not just you, but that's the quick and easy way for you as the business owner to read your reviews. So that one, super important. Next button that I love that a lot of people miss is ask for reviews, okay? If you click this button, it's going to bring up a new box, which is right here. And it's going to say, give customers a link to review your business on Google. This link is super important because I'm sure a lot of you can attest to the fact that you said oh yeah, leave me a review on Google Business Profile, or you just kind of shout it out to people. You even email to people, say, leave me a review on Google Business Profile. And then you never get that review, right? Because for a couple of reasons. One, people forget. 2, they go and look you up and then they just don't find you right away and they forget. Those are the 2 main reasons. They just can't find you or they just completely forget. By giving them this link, they click the link and it automatically goes to Google. It automatically logs them into Google because you have to be logged in to leave a review. and it automatically opens a window that just says leave a review for Social Sipper. So it makes their lives so much easier. And believe me, when you're asking people to leave you reviews, you want to make it as easy as possible for them because it's not their priority. In all honesty, more people are likely to seek out a business to leave a bad review than a good review. And it's tough, so you want to make it easy for people to leave you good reviews. And then people will say, well, how do I do that? How do I encourage my satisfied customers to leave me reviews? So we kind of gave you a couple of ways that you can actively solicit feedback from satisfied customers. Number one, if you have a satisfied customer, just send them an email. Type out, you can have a template or whatever, but kind of try to make it personal. It was great working with you. I mean, this doesn't work for a pizza shop probably, but if say you're somebody like Social Sipper and we have clients, we can say, we loved working on this website project with you. We would love to have you leave us a review in the personal email. And then we just include this link over here. Another option, we do this with a lot of real estate agents and mortgage loan officers. We create actual textables that they could send out. So basically they have a design that says I loved working with you, helping you find your dream home, helping you work, whatever. And then it includes the link so that the people can just click on from the text. They click the link. It immediately takes them to Google and type, and they've left a review. Another option is to add the link to your email signature so that it's just always there. Sometimes that kind of gets lost in the shuffle though, right? If people keep seeing it, then they kind of forget it's there. So I don't feel like that works as well as specifically asking, but it is always an option. If you have a business, say you're a spa or a salon or a boutique and you have a counter, you can create a little sign, with a scannable QR code that links directly to your Google. And it could say something like, if you've had a great experience, we would love to hear about it. Please leave us a 5-star review. Last choice would be, not last of our choices. If you have invoices that you send out or receipts that are printed out, you can add the QR code to the bottom of your receipt. I was just saying the other day, I went to my local Dairy Queen and at the bottom of the receipt, it had the QR code and it said, please scan and leave us a review on Google. Super effective because, I just got my ice cream. I got home, took my receipt out. It's there. I scanned it. Leave a review, and now I'm done. One thing I would encourage you to keep in mind, Google does not appreciate if you incentivize people leaving reviews. So don't make contests. Don't try to say hey, we'll give you this for free if you leave us a review. That actually goes against Google policies. So you do not want to make Google mad because they will shut down your account and you will never, I've seen it happen, you will never get it back. So do not incentivize people leaving you. You can absolutely ask for them, but don't offer something in return because if you do get caught, it never works out well to your advantage. And like I said, these reviews are super duper important. We talked about how to get reviews. The next step, and this is where a lot of people lack. A lot of people forget about this step, but you need to respond to these reviews. And I will say this until I'm blue in the face. This is more important than getting reviews, okay? If a client takes the time to leave you a review, they went out of their way to leave kind words about your business, you need to take the 2 minutes to respond to that review. It's important to the client to see a response, but also when people are looking up your business, they want to see that you're engaging with your customers and that you are appreciative of them leaving those kind words to you. It's going to encourage further engagement. So it is super important, and not just on Google, anywhere. Take that to heart. If anybody leaves you a review anywhere, please reply to it. Negative or positive. So, and that's the last thing we'll quickly touch on is you may get a negative review on Google. It is not the end of the world. Do not panic. I mean, if you have all negative reviews, you should panic. Something's going on, right? You want to reevaluate how you're doing business. But I know none of you are like that. So, but if you get a negative review here and there, there's a couple things. Number one, it actually makes you look more, it makes your reviews look more credible. If you have 100 positive reviews and not a single negative, I might question that, but if you have 100 positive reviews and 2 are negative, you can't, everybody knows you can't make everybody happy, right? So sometimes those negative reviews actually they add a little credibility to your business. I know it sounds weird, but I promise it's true. We've done a ton of research on this. But what is super important, when you get a negative review, you still should reply to it. You want to be mature. You want to be professional. You want to acknowledge it. One thing that you can do is you can offer people, like I'm acknowledging this negative review. I'd love to discuss it further. My name is Gina. I am the owner of this business. Please give me a call. You don't want to blame them or sound belligerent, and one other good piece of advice, if you get a negative review and it really makes you mad, because it's your business, I get it. If it really makes you mad, walk away from the computer and come back in 4 hours or the next day or 2 days later and then reply. Because sometimes in the heat of the moment, we can be angry and we could say things we don't mean. And now it's on your Google and it's showing to everybody, right? So just take a step back. You don't have to answer immediately, but it is super important to reply to all of those reviews. And lastly, every once in a while, you might get a weird review, like it's a negative review. You've never done business with this person. You think they might be talking about the pizza shop down the street, right? You can report that to Google and you can let them know. And there's a good chance, if you can prove that you didn't, that review doesn't make sense for your business, they will remove it. So those are some options. But takeaway from this is we want you to encourage positive reviews and we want you to respond to those reviews. And the more reviews you get, the more you respond to them. Once again, Google's moving you up higher and higher in the rankings. Next one, this is one that a lot of people don't even know exists. When I ask people like, oh, are you posting regular updates? They're like, oh yeah, we always put photos on, or we get reviews, or we, do this or do that. But a lot of people don't realize you can actually post to your Google business profile almost as though it were a social platform, right? And at Social Sipper, that's what we do. If it goes on our Instagram page or our Facebook page, it's most likely going on our Google business profile as well. When you go into somebody's Google account, and you can see here as you're scrolling down their profile closer to the bottom, you'll see this is where all of that updates, all of the social media type stuff posts. And you may be sitting here saying, well, nobody sees that. Nobody's going to notice it. So why should I bother? Like, I get that, because I will acknowledge that not many people see that way down at the bottom of your Google business profile. What it does, though, is Google sees it and they love it, and they love getting those descriptions in there. And, if you can put keywords in your descriptions, they love that. So the more you add down there in that little unknown update spot, the more Google is going to boost your business. The other thing it does is, by having that there, if somebody is scrolling and they're comparing two businesses, it is going to build trust and credibility, because it does demonstrate your business is attentive and engaged. The more consistent you are and the more current you are updating these, like I said, the more visible you're going to be in the search results. It's a simple yet effective way to connect with your audience. Like we talked about before, it's going to improve your online presence and it's going to attract more customers. When you're looking at your profile, again, we use a scheduler to post to our Google, but I get like a lot of you may not be using a scheduler. So all you do is you go to your Google business profile and you're going to see this little button here that says add update. You're going to click it. And then it's going to open up this window. And this is just like social media. You're going to click here. You're going to pop a picture in there. You're going to write a description. Again, just like something you would post on Instagram. I do tell people Google loves, the more you use your keywords, the more that's going to help Google get you in the right space. So for example, for Social Sipper, if we're using words like website, website SEO, website design, digital marketing, social media marketing. Those are all words that are important, for when people, if somebody types in social media marketing, the more we use those words in our profile, the more likely we're going to show up in those Google searches. So every business is different. Everybody has different keywords. You can even, Google has a keyword planner. So if you don't know what your keywords are or what you should be using, you can go to Google, type in keyword planner, and it's going to bring up a whole platform where you can go through and kind of figure out what your best keywords are and what you should be using. But long story short, your descriptions should be rich. They should be filled. Obviously you don't have to do 1,500 characters, but you want to get descriptions in there. And then the last button over here that you're going to see is it's a place where you can add a call to action button. These are super important. If you look on our post, this one's a learn more button, which would take you directly to our website where we talk about automated robotics. And this is a sign up button. And this was for one of our past webinars. So people could click that and automatically sign up for our webinar. You'll see over here, these are some of the different calls to action that you can add, and they should all link back most likely to a page on your website. So you have book, order online, buy, learn more, sign up, call now. You don't have to use a button every time, but that's a chance to add, a link to your website, which is awesome. Again, here, these are just a couple of ideas of what you could post. Treat it like social media. It's just another social media platform. So you could do, upcoming events, special offers. You can really focus on offers and promotions on here probably more than you would on Instagram, which is neat. But otherwise, holiday celebrations, business milestones, you can show, fun little posts or gratitude for clients, those types of things. We talked about the call to actions, and the last thing is you don't use hashtags so Google's a little different than Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, where you would use hashtags. Google doesn't look at hashtags. Like, they just go to the wayside. So don't waste your time like typing, like for us, like hashtag digital marketing, hashtag social media marketing. That means nothing to Google. So don't even like waste your time putting hashtags in there. If you put one in there, it's not the end of the world, but don't try to craft the perfect string of hashtags because it's not going to matter at all to Google. So that's the updates. That's number 5. Moving right along to products and services. These are 2 more categories where you can really get in descriptions of what your business does. You can add in keywords, and you're going to help Google figure out, how to rank you, where to put you in search results, et cetera, et cetera. One thing that I have noticed, we have products and we have services, and service businesses tend to think like, oh, I don't have products, right? So like for us, for example, we don't have products per se, we have services. So, we do social media marketing, we do website development. Those are all services, which are great. And I promise if you look at our services, you're going to see all of those and more, and you're going to see descriptions of all of those services, which are super duper important. But what Google predominantly displays is products. So when you're looking at your Google business profile and you're scanning down, you are going to see this section here that says products. My mouse was lagging a little. Sorry. You're going to see this section here that says products. You're not going to see a service section. You have to be on a mobile device, and then you can see people's services, like the words listed out, but no pictures, nothing like that. So even if you are a service business, I encourage you to put, if you can find a way to do it, like say you're a mortgage loan officer. Okay, well then you could put in like VA loans or FHA loans, or, all sorts of different, loan products. Or you're a salon, you could put in, the lash extensions and highlights and all of those kinds of things. So you can turn your services into products, and, it looks visually appealing, and it's going to add a dimension to your profile that isn't there just by adding services. So if you're wondering how to do that, when you're on your profile, in the browser, here's the services button, which again, you'll click and you're just going to add a lot of words. And here's the products button. When you click the products button, it's going to bring up this window. You'll type in your product name. So for us down here, like let's say it was social media marketing. So we typed in social media marketing. Then you're going to select a category. For category, you make your own categories. So our category was called digital marketing because that falls under digital marketing for us. Like say though, like you're a loan officer and you do an FHA loan, like your category might be, loan products. So you make your own category. Product price is optional. So for us, we don't put our product prices in there because, everything's so custom, it varies. And that's how it's going to be for a lot of service businesses. If you actually do sell products, for sure, you can, if you sell a widget and it costs $5, for sure, put your pricing in there. That's great. Product description. This is a great place to get your keywords in there. So give a really good detailed description of the product, try to fit some keywords in there, but that kind of helps people understand more about your products, obviously. And then product landing page is going to be a website. So hopefully you can link them back somehow to a page on your website that goes into even more greater details. So if you were to click on our website development product and go to the link, it's going to take you to an entire page that talks about website development. So again, these are just more opportunities to appeal to people. Your profile is going to look robust. You're going to look professional. You are building up your social credibility. Plus Google loves it, right? So now they're like putting you even higher in the ranks because you're giving them more and more and more information. The last little button here is select a photo. So you want to put a photo in there, super important, because otherwise it's not going to show up here. And you want to make sure, just like your other images, that it is a high quality image because that's what people want to see. And then you hit the publish button. One thing to note is every time you make a change to Google, it goes into review. So when I publish a product, it's going to say, I'll see it, but it tells me Google's reviewing this. It's not visible currently to the general public. Usually it gets approved in like 10 minutes or something, and then it's visible. But don't be nervous if it takes some time. It just depends on how backed up Google is. And most of the stuff is reviewed by AI and whatnot, but every once in a while it needs a deeper review, so don't stress about it. But also just understand if you make 100 updates like right now, they're not all going to show up. It's not going to be an immediate thing where you're going to see them. So next one is adding social media channels. This is brand new for Google, right? Well, I shouldn't say brand new. It used to be, you would always be able to type your social profiles into Google, which again, a reminder, if you created this account 3 years ago, go ahead and double check that you have your social media channels in there correctly, because sometimes people change their social profile names. It happens all of the time, and then they forget, and then they don't realize that their link is broken and it's not going to work. And now that Google is showing these like they are populating right on your profile, you want to make sure all of those links work. So now is a great time just to go and double check them. But this is really cool because Google just started doing this in the fall, where now, this is again going back to Google Business Profile being a one-stop shop. I can come on here, I can get your phone number, I can get directions to your business, I can check out your website, I can check out all of your social media profiles. Everything is here. I see your products, I see your pictures. There is a lot of information here, and the more I see, the more I'm interested in your business. And again, we just want to make sure all of these details are correct and that they're working. But by providing additional channels for connection and interaction, you're enhancing your visibility, you're reaching a broader audience, and you're strengthening customer relationships. And last but not least, which we'll say it over and over, it signals positive SEO indicators, to Google, which is going to improve your business's visibility and search results. Because what Google's doing, and it's kind of cool, and your business may not you may not see this yet. I told Gina the other day, like, it's not working yet for Social Sipper. She was all excited to go see if she could see it on Social Sipper, and it hasn't happened yet. I've seen a couple of them. It's a slow rollout, but when you start looking up business profiles on your phone, you're going to see their social media posts populating right within their Google business profile. Like, that's amazing. So like, you may look at your business and you're going to see your Instagrams populating right on that page. So people don't even have to click the social media link in order to see your social media. So that's kind of twofold. We talk a lot about the importance of social media. Number one, you're keeping your, you want your Google business updated with social media. But number two, you want to make sure you're updating your social media profiles because they're showing up in another spot. You may say like, oh, all of my customers are older, like my customers don't really look at Instagram. They don't have Instagram accounts. Like, I get that. Like, they may not, but guess what? If they search you on Google, they're seeing your Instagram, I mean, again, maybe not quite yet, but it's slowly rolling out, but they are seeing your Instagram posts. So you want to make sure, this is all connecting and it all works together. It's not, you can't be successful on just Instagram or just Facebook or just Google business profile. It all works hand in hand. So take a look, double check your social media channels, make sure they're in there. And if you're not sure how to add them, this goes right back to editing your profile. You click the edit profile button. It brings up this box that we've already looked at. You have the about section, you have the contact section, and there's a little files. You just click the pencil and that's where you can change them. The links populate as you're scrolling down your Google business profile. If you're on a browser, on the right-hand side, they're going to show up right under the update section. So just double check them, make sure they're there, make sure they're showing up. But it's just another way that, like I said, Google's really becoming that one-stop shop. Number 8, adding Q&As. So you can see here, again, looking at your dashboard, there's a little button right here that says Q&A. And when I talk about this with just about everybody, every client, I say, do you have Q&As? And they say, well, nobody's asked me any questions. They're like, I have no questions to answer. Nobody's asked me. And I get it, right? But what you may not know is you can ask your own questions. And to be fully transparent, if you look at Social Sipper, these are questions we've asked ourselves. Again, just to be fully transparent, I asked this question. You can't tell that Social Sipper asked this question. It just looks like somebody came on here and asked a question. So we asked the question ourselves and we responded to the question ourselves. And you may say to me, well, what's the point? Like, why should I ask my own questions? Number one, we're saying it all day long. The more active you are in Google, the more information you give Google, the higher you're going to populate in the search, right? Google wants you to be Google would like you to be on here every single day. I know that's not possible for some people. That's why I usually say weekly. But Google loves information. So the more information you give them, and I'm repeating myself, but the more information you give them, the better. So that's number 1. Number 2, these questions and responses serve as valuable resources. So if I don't know who Social Sipper Brands is, but I'm thinking like, oh, I really want a website, but I really want to be involved in, sharing my input, my ideas. I want to tell them what colors I want to use. I wonder if Social Sipper would let me be part of the design. Well, guess what? When I look at their Q&A, somebody already asked that question and now I can read the answer. And I right there, the information's right there for me. So it's just a great way to provide insight and learning opportunities. It's transparent. It's going to build trust and credibility to your potential clients. So really just sit there and think about it. You're a pizza shop. What might people ask you? People might say like, hey, I know you're a pizza shop, but do you have salads? So write that question yourself and then say, yes, we have a full array of salads. If you're on a diet this week and you don't want pizza, guess what? We have salads. You can come up with all sorts of different questions. I recommend adding 2 a month. You don't need to add, 100 all at once. But Google Business Profile is just like social media. You don't need to do it all at once. You just want to be actively involved. So 2 a month is a really good goal, that every month you're getting on and you're adding 2. That I think that covers Q&A. So I'm going to move on to the next one. And this is a bunch at once, but it's, do you have your chat/message on? Do you have your call button enabled? And do you take bookings? So first and foremost, messaging, right? All of what this is going to do is we're just really talking about enhanced ways for customers to communicate with you. It's going to give you the competitive advantage if you have that chat on versus another customer or another business who may not. So you click on the message button, and you're just going to walk through the steps, and you can enable messaging. And then when people are on their phone, they can message you directly from your Google Business Profile. What's really cool is when you walk through the steps, it's going to let you link that to your cell number as well. So if you're ever worried like, oh, I might miss a chat or something like that, it's going to come to your cell, so you're not going to miss a chat. So that's a great one. Up next is bookings. So for some people, you do take, not everybody, a pizza shop doesn't really need to worry about bookings, but if you, if your business uses some type of calendar system or booking system or reservation system, something like that, you can click the bookings button and you can add the link. So for us, we use Calendly, and people can book consultations with Gina. It connects directly to our Outlook calendar, so they can book a time that works for them. The system already knows it works for Gina because they see her Outlook calendar, and it just makes it super easy for clients to immediately book time with you. The last one is the call button. This doesn't mean that you are allowing people to call you. That if your phone number is in there, that option is already on. But what the call button does is it kind of gives you increased insights into seeing who's calling you, when they're calling you, all sorts of information that you may, if you like data, it's kind of cool to see. It's just going to help you know a little bit more about how well your Google Business Profile is working and where you may need improvement. So then our last, well, we actually have one more after this, but our last main one is monitoring your insights. So if you click this button right here, it's your performance button. This is going to allow you to see all sorts of analytics, all sorts of data, and you can one thing to take note is the month that you're currently in is always going to look low until you get to the end of the month, because Google's just still trying to populate all of that data. But you can see, kind of how your business is doing. You can see how many calls you received, how many messages, how many bookings, how many directions, how many websites. So a lot of cool information that you can just use to know what's working for you, what you should work on, all of that kind of stuff. So that is that. And then our very last recommendation is and we say this across the board with just about every one of these classes and everything that we teach, it's really all about being consistent. Google Business prioritizes accounts that log in and consistently make updates. So that doesn't mean logging in once and spending 3 hours making updates and then not checking till next year, right? You really should think about a weekly to a monthly login. But regular updating your profile signals to Google that your business is active and that it's engaged, which leads them to pushing you up higher. So you're going to get better visibility in search results. It also demonstrates to potential customers because they can see when your pictures were posted or when your updates were made or when your reviews were responded to. So they want to see you current and reliable because that's going to enhance your trust and your credibility. And again, more active profiles are more likely to be featured in Google's local search and their map results. So again, we're talking more potential customers, more potential conversions, etc. So the one last thing, and then I'll open it up to questions, but we are offering, which is really cool, a mini Google Business Profile audit. So if you're on this call and you want us to do a quick audit and let you know what we see on your profile, what's working, what isn't working, we'll make some recommendations. You can email us at social@socialsipper.com. Let us know your business name. And we will it'll take us a day or two to get it done, but we will make a list and we'll go through and we will give you a mini audit and we'll send it back to you. And it'll just kind of help you again, no, it's working, no, it isn't working. I mean, obviously, we're not the end all be all, but we've become somewhat experts, I think, on this because we work within so many Google business profiles. So we'll make our recommendations and you take them or leave them. But we'd love to audit a couple of them. So definitely send us an email. And that is it. I have 3 minutes to spare, 4 minutes to spare for questions, Gina, if anything has come through.
Oh, that's great, Angela. You know, every time I listen to you, I learn more things too. So everybody, you know, felt like their time was utilized efficiently. I do have a few questions. And one of them, and I believe we have this experience as well. When you're talking about verifying the account, right? Sometimes they might call, they might send a postcard, they might not do anything. But one of the folks said they get these calls all the time about, you know, verifying their Google business profile. And is it a sales call or is it Google actually calling? And I actually went through this yesterday with someone that I was like, no, are you representing a company that receives income from this, or are you calling on behalf of Google? So how do you tell the difference if you do, if you can?
Well, number one, I would look to see if your account is verified. If it's verified, chances are, honestly, and I can tell, to get Google on the phone is not an easy task. Like Shannon and I, like we talk about that all the time. Like to get a hold of Google or get a hold of Meta, even if you're spending money with them, it's never easy to get one of them on the phone. So I'd be surprised if they're randomly calling people and saying like, oh, what most likely it is it's a sales call. Is maybe somebody has a business and they're going through and they're like saying like, hey, you know, pay us and we'll do this to your Google account. I never recommend, like if somebody randomly calls you, like I would probably recommend to just shut that down. Like I don't, you know, it may be something sketchy or, you know, like it wouldn't be normal. I don't think. Like I said, you have to be spending a lot of money with Google to even think about getting on a phone call with them most days. So for them to just randomly call random businesses, I don't see that happening.
And, you know, and I did notice yesterday because I knew we were having this meeting. So it was just kind of odd that I got that call about our Google business page because I know that we're fully optimized. And
yeah.
It's difficult because they have answers that go around the answer of, yes, we're here to try to make some money. So thank you for clarifying that. I have another question.
Sure.
Someone wrote that they had a Google website that was attached to their Google business page. Like I remember Google, but now it's gone away. So I could answer this question, but are we able to provide websites to folks?
I mean, for sure, we create what, I'm telling you, we create websites. We do website development, the whole 9 yards. So yes, absolutely. I do know Google Business was offering websites. I don't know if that has, I mean, they're very, almost like landing pages, very pared down, websites. I'm not so sure if they're still doing it. I didn't realize they were taking away. But yes, I mean, you can absolutely, if you are looking for a website, you can absolutely give us a call and we'll get a quote for you. Because it is, I mean, while Google Business works spectacularly, it may be, and a lot of information's there. Obviously, if you're going to be a business for the long haul, it would be a great idea to also have a website in addition to a Google Business profile.
Yes, that person who asked the question, social@socialsipper.com. I can talk with you about it. So I have one final question, and this is a little more specific to an industry.
Okay.
But I think this, and you mentioned it, but just to reiterate it. So there's someone here from a funeral industry, from the funeral and death care industry, and they said, okay, with that listing the products versus the services. Okay, technically, I guess they're selling products, but can you explain again why to list them as products versus services? Because, I mean, a funeral isn't really like, I mean, you buy things, but right, it's really more of a service they're trying to convey. So why do they list them as products and not services?
So funeral is tricky, and that may be one where you would want to just list them as services. The reason why we list services as products is because we can share the pictures and it shows up on the website or on the Google, like it shows up automatically on the Google Business Profile. Services kind of hide more in the background. Not that you can't look at somebody's services and you could see descriptions of them, but you have to look for them. They're not going to populate directly on the profile. You're not going to see pictures, but for funeral care, I get it. Like it's kind of hard. I mean, maybe you could put, pre-planning as one of your products, right? Because that's something you can just show like that you do offer pre-planning services. So you could put your specific, I mean, you could even put cremation as a product, pre-planning and cremation. There's certain things that you could put on there that would still, I think work, but obviously it's not some of the funeral stuff. Like maybe you wouldn't want to put a picture and put it right, so obviously it's going to be different for every business, but if you can find a way to also list your services as products, it's just, it adds more, it kind of builds out your profile and the pictures. People like to look at pictures, right? They don't like to read. I mean, I love to read, but a lot of people don't like to read. So, the pictures are just kind of what captures their eyes and their attention and, just builds out the profile a little bit. So,
okay. So you were, just to recap that, it's more about having that exposure of what you're offering, whether it's a product, because we have another person here that's an HVAC company. So yeah, they sell products, but they also sell those services, right? Like coming out to inspect. So listing them both as products just gives a higher visibility, right?
Exactly. That's like, yeah. So if you do inspections, you can show a picture of somebody doing inspections or, duct cleaning. You could show, I know it's not like, like you might be like, well, who wants to see a picture of that? But again, it's the pictures that are just capturing people's attention. So if you're using high quality images, it's just going to capture my eye. I'm going to see it right there. I'm going to read it. It's going to link back to your website, which is cool. So I could get more information. It's just more robust than just having services. So if you can make it work, even if you only can fit in, like for funeral and death care, if you can only do cremation and pre-planning services, that's okay. Just put 2 on there. You don't have to sweat about having so many products, but just put in there what fits and what makes sense for your business.
Perfect. Thank you. Looks like I don't see any other questions in the chat. If you have another question and you want to stay back, you can. We are a couple minutes over, so we do appreciate everybody's time. Want to let you know about. Go ahead, Angela.
No, I was just saying for sure. We appreciate everybody's time. Yeah.
And I appreciate you. So next month, remember, we're doing these trainings. If you haven't been on before, we're doing the trainings once a month, the third Thursday of the month at noon on East Coast time. Next month in June, hard to believe it's going to be June already, is reputation management, right? So I know I've gone on websites where I'm like, I look at the pictures and I go, ugh. And then I go there and it's so much nicer than what the online presence is. So I know a few people that I'm going to have them come and do this webinar. Do you want to elaborate any more on it, or?
That's going to be the gist of it. It's also like we did talk a little bit about reviews earlier, and so it's going to go into a little bit of that, like managing your, because reviews do make up a big part of your online brand, so managing, getting those positive reviews, how to answer those reviews, how to leverage them, doing different things. Like maybe you have 100 reviews on Google, but how else are you getting, are you sharing them to social media? Are you making testimonials with them? Some different things that you can do. Are you adding them to your website? Some different ways that you can just strengthen your online brand and your people's perception of you. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's important one. So.
All right. So I'm not positive if you can register now for next month, but we will be sending you out a email linking the recorded session to everybody in attendance, and it will also be on our website, the recorded session. So we'll also include that link for the registration, I believe, right, for next month.
Yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and looks like we don't have any additional questions in the Q&A. Angela, I want to thank you again for all your expertise and sharing it freely with everyone on the call. And everybody have a great rest of the day. Feel free to give us a call or email us at social@socialzipper.com. I'm Gina saying goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.